Voja, Jaws of the Conclave, $100 budget deck, let's go. Brothers, have you ever looked at the cards in a new set and suddenly you're rendered unconscious? Your brain starts dribbling out the side of your head, your heart starts bumping and thumping in ecstasy? Me neither, brother. But Voja, Jaws of the Conclave is an absolute perfection of a beast, custom built for Commander. Elves and Wolves, my two favorite tribes. I have an Azuri deck, I also have a Tovolar deck. I've used Elves as a base for Commander decks in Naya colors forever, and every year there's something new. This particular Commander weaponizes Elves like a young Napoleon to crush your enemies, drive them before you, and hear the lamentation of the Phyrexians. Alright, let's read this beast. Voja, Jaws of the Conclaves. Is it Voja? Are you going to yell at me now? 2 red, green, and a white for a legendary creature wolf. It's a 5/5 with Vigilance, Trample, and Ward 3. Whenever this thing attacks, put X +1/+1 counters on each creature you control, where X is the number of elves you control. Draw a card for each wolf you control. Ward 3, man, sweet Caroline. This just needs haste to be an absolute menace. Look at this art too, man. I learned from the time I was a young fella that if a dog is snarling like that, cover yourself with peanut butter because you're a sandwich. Now I know what you're thinking, why should I watch this video? Because it's entertaining, that's why. But this is an easy deck to build. It relies on some staples to just hum out there, man. It's a creature-based deck, but Magic is like a big game of rock, paper, scissors. Creature-based decks have weaknesses. Chief among the weaknesses is the ubiquitous board wipes that everybody runs in their decks, but Voja helps out with that. Makes it easy to rebuild when you get wiped because you're drawing at least one card on attack because it's a wolf. So the base of this deck is Elves. In addition to our lands, we have a reliable base of 20 plus Elves that accelerate your mana in one way or another. We have Dorks, we got the Llanowar Elves, we got Fyndhorn Elves. Then we have slightly pricier Dorks. You have Kyrian Elves, Beastcaller Savant, Druid of the Anima, Gyre Sage, Incubation Druid. Incubation Druid in particular is fantastic because we're putting counters on it with our Commander's ability. Then we have the medium-sized mana Dorks. Chief among them is Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia. 2 and a green for a legendary creature, Elf Druid Scout. It's a 2/3, has tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activate abilities of a creature or creature card. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Gwenna, Eyes of Gaia, and untap it. So you cast your commander with this thing, then she's going to be available to swing in. Yes, her eyes are slightly too wide, and yes, she stabbed you with a bone spear, but she's available emotionally, and that's better commander, dude. Now, of course, Tireless Provisioner is here. She's going to make an appearance, make some treasures, make some love on a pile of treasures in the woods. Of course, Marwyn, the Mana Dork, slots in. I don't like to rely on babies in my commander decks, but probably hire a babysitter, you know, if you're going to go out there, but she's here. Then you got the beefy end of our loaded Mana Dorks like Grand Warlord Rada. 2 red and a green for a legendary creature, Elf Warrior. It's a 3/4 with haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red and or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. The future is my gift to Keld. Nothing like a muscle mommy wielding the Berserk sword, right? Suplex me right into your heart, brother. And there's a bunch more, like Rishkar here. His arm is turning into a stick. That's a terrible way to live, dude, but he can turn anybody into a Mana Dork. So we have our 30 or so elves. They're doing their thing in the woods, maybe having an eyes wide shut type situation out there. Who knows? And who shows up? Bunch of dirty wolves, dude. Next thing you know, they're eating up the mini hot dogs wrapped in pizza dough. It's disgusting. How about this guy, the Cemetery Prowler? 1 green for a creature, wolf. It's a 3/4 with Vigilance. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. If you manage to exile a creature, this is just a cost reducer. It's also graveyard hate. Pretty neat card. Arlen Cord showed up. Well, wait a minute, who is this cute lady? This makes wolves. It fires up a creature, maybe our commander, haste and pump. Looks like wife material. Well, soon as she gets the ring, turns into a dang moon-crazed beast. Should have figured, dude. That trample is actually nice. Pyreheart Wolf, a nice little 1/1 for 3 mana. Whenever it attacks, creatures you control gain menaced until end of turn. Also has Undying. This can be incredible with our board full of beastly elves. Now we know our commander is going to be a target even with that Ward 3. So we have a Nara Wolven Familiar out there, 3 and a green with a legendary creature, Wolf Beast. It's a 4/4. As long as it's your turn, commanders you control have Indestructible. There's literally nothing more dangerous than a wolf with antlers. Now it's goring you, now it's biting you, dang it, and now it's protecting your commander. Wolfear Silverheart. I love this card from all the way back in the Innistrad days. Just a big old pumped up CrossFit wolf, man. Just a David Goggins of the wolf who's going to carry the boats. I don't know, man, but this guy is going to give your commander +4/+4. Then there are some fellas who make wolves when they come in, Tolsimir and the other Tolsimir. These guys happen to just be elves as well. I guess Voja and Tolsimir are buddies. Just Ravnican buddy cops walking the beat, dude, just like Lethal Weapon. This makes some tokens, fight some stuff. My friend has a Tolsimir Friend to Wolves deck, and it is oppressive and really good, man. There you go, Kevin. Take your compliment, take your flowers. So our commander, Voja, has an attack trigger, so we want him to attack as soon as he comes down, or her, I don't know. We need haste enablers, preferably on creatures so that they can benefit from all that pump. Oh, here's one, Crashing Drawbridge. It's a great card, it's cheap, and it comes down early. Goro is sneaky good. It has a red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. It also has 3 red, create a 5/5 red Dragon Spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control an attacking modified creature. Counters, man, we're all about counters in this deck, and those are modifications. And of course you can pack in Swiftfoot boots. These are magical boots that you can dress up your wolf with, you know, give your pup little booties on his feet so he don't get cold. Then you have Bloodsworn Steward, just a handsome Twilight type of vampire that says flying. Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have haste. Then we have Generator Servant. It's just a little mana dork, man. This guy lives in your toaster. He's ready at any time to give your commander haste at the cost of his own life. Ogre Battle Driver is a classic for your budget decks and is completely underrated in a creature deck like this. We win by banging in and slapping our opponents in the coconuts, and this guy makes that a little easier. Halana and Elena, just partners, are like fancy pants cheaper Xenagos. As they get bigger, no doubt eating fast food, watching the Joker on Netflix, so too does the creature it gives haste to. And don't worry, Xenagos is here too, lurking in the stars, with his bowl of chowder ready to party it up. Now, I've plugged this card before. When it came out, I called it a green staple, and I still believe that. I bought a bunch of copies for myself, and guess what? The price is coming up. Sirakan Goreclaw, 4 green for a legendary creature, Human Bear. It's a 6/5 with trample. Other creatures you control have trample. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Gains haste until end of turn. This is a $6 card, and rightly so. It's nutso. Great card. I know it's not wolves or elves, you know, it's bears and dudes. But bears and dudes can party in the woods too, brother. Now it's time to get cute. We want to win the game eventually, and our mainstay is elves, wolves, and combat, but let's get a little spicy here. You know, Shalayan Halar, 1 red, green, and a white for a legendary creature, Angel Elf. Just like old Nikki G, it's a 3/3 with flying and vigilance. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on a creature you control, this little duo deals that much damage to target opponent. This can end the game pretty easily. It's an elf, has that fabulous counter synergy. On turn 6 or 7, this is smashing some idiot for 20 damage, dude. Right to the dome. This deck accumulates counters at an insane pace. Now, unfortunately, there are no elven wolves in the game of Commander. The closest you're going to get is Tolsimir, who comes in and creates a wolf. I wish there were, you know, but that gives the furry community too much ammunition. We can't have that, brother. Wizards put a line in the sand. But there are changelings. Taurian Mauler, Realm Walker, Mirror Entity make it in. Mirror Entity can be brutal, adding a lot of base power to the deck, but will refill your hand and add a lot of counters on attack. An excellent strategy, although perhaps not suited to a budget deck like this, is Extra Combats. This deck is slapping in for damage. The commander is a combat beast. I would love a Karlach for this deck, but those are pricey these days because Karlach is a waifu in a video game, alright? And it's a really good card too, man. I've been banging on about this card forever. But if we have all these mana dorks, we can go infinite with Aggravated Assault. So this is 2 and a red for an enchantment, has 3 red, untap all creatures you control. After this main phase, there's an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase, activate only as a sorcery. This got a recent reprint in Enchanting Tales and is still $3 and change. I prefer the Goblin Dance Party version, but this is fine too. Fantastic card. Tap 5 mana worth in mana dorks, and they all untap anyways. I can see this deck being an absolutely wild deck with a higher budget. Odric, look at this handsome fella out there. The Lunarch Marshal is another absolutely crazy addition to this deck. Your commander has 2 keywords that we care about, and it interacts favorably with an additional 21 cards in this deck in particular. We really need trample on all these 9/9 utility elves, and Odric is a beast. So what is this deck going to cost us? $1,000? 6 kidneys and a rare bird? Nope, all this can be yours for under $100, man. The commander right now is $15. I popped in some pricier cards, but Voja can easily be built on a very strict budget. Although you sacrifice some of the more explosive elves, you know, that's where a lot of the budget goes. Voja guarantees such massive value though, it doesn't matter that much. 66 power on board by turn 5, I mean, that's crazy, brother. This wolf is on the prowl, so you can check out my deck list if you want. And if you enjoy these videos, like, subscribe, leave a comment, give me your bank information. If you're feeling saucy, buy me a coffee at the link in the description, brother. Enjoy your life out there on the streets, and I love you. Sneaky G for Better Commander, signing off.